What's your favorite John Cena moment?
Favorite John Cena moment? I'm partial to the theater match with Bray. You know, especially
WrestleMania 2020 when, that was
because it almost was a crystal ball into what could have been. You know, like it was a great match. Was a great payoff for their feud, but then it also dipped into if John Cena was a heel, if John Cena was NWO. You know, it gave us different scenarios, and I'm so glad they didn't overuse them. But I really enjoyed the theatrical matches they were putting on back then, and Bray was the king of those. So the fact that we got a John Cena version, that's the highlight. But anytime Word Life hits, I love it. I get so hyped.
Yeah, I mean, I think my favorite I have a lot of favorite John Cena moments because I started watching at like the end of 2003, and that's when he was really the star of SmackDown. You know, became the U.S. champion at the first WrestleMania I ever watched. You know, beat Big Show. You know, gave him the FU. So it was a huge moment. So those moments are huge. Kind of like his own Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant moment. So a lot of huge moments with John Cena for me, but I think the moment I love the most is when him and Roman Reigns were feuding in like 2017, No Mercy.
Okay.
I think it's to me it's the promo that made Roman Reigns and solidified Cena as incredible, and it almost got me back into wrestling because I was living in New York and I had gotten casually back into wrestling, at least the big events. You know, I again started watching the pay-per-views again. So I'm like, Monday nights, I'm back. I think Goldberg was back. So there were a lot of reasons why I was watching again and stuff. But it was him and Roman Reigns in the ring. And Roman Reigns was the big dog. And he's coming out there doing his same old,
this is my yard.
This is my yard. I'm the big dog, you know. You know, what are you still doing here, John? Go back to Hollywood, dude. You know, and they're shoving Roman down our throats. And John said that line where he goes, I'm still here because you can't do your job.
The best promos come from a little bit of truth.
And I'm watching this and I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is not something at the time there's a lot of other stuff going on in wrestling. It wasn't that great. And then another thing happened where Roman was fumbling over his words and John just goes, Roman, it's called a promo, kid. If you're going to be the star of the company, you might want to learn how to do one. And again, it's like, so that got me back into it, you know? So it's only fitting that as 2025 is here and John Cena's retirement tour is here, this is the story of John Cena.
So where would you say John ranks in your top 5 or top 10 or wherever?
He's in the top 10 for me.
He's in top 10?
You know, I don't know that he's in the top 5.
Okay.
I will say like he deserves a lot of credit for carrying the business for many years.
Yeah.
But my top, like, I don't know.
Do you think he
when I look back on like his actual matches and how they make me feel, I don't know that the matches did it for me. I think his promo work and a lot of the stuff there did it for me, but I don't know that I find the matches as satisfying.
That's fair. Do you think he got to be the biggest mainstream wrestler there ever was? Like, do you think at the height he exceeded Stone Cold or Hulkamania?
No. Okay. No. I think it's remarkable that he got where he was at the time. I think he was like the last manufactured wrestling star because, you know, Roman, they rejected the manufactured Roman.
Very much so.
And
because that was the formula. They gave us the formula.
Yeah.
Big Dog Roman just didn't take.
Exactly.
And those years of hating John Cena, hustle, loyal, respect, laid the groundwork for us to reject Roman because we were over Cena. So we didn't want another Cena. Because, I mean, we're not that far removed from dun-dun-dun-dun, John Cena sucks. You know, like, people aren't chanting that now because we're happy to have him back. I'm wholeheartedly on board with the farewell tour. I want all the stereotypical John Cena. I want all the formulaic John Cena I can get my hands on. But we're not that far removed from people saying they were tired of that.
Exactly. We got a good year ahead of us with John Cena.
I hope so, man. And I say I hope so because that's just the old school wrestling fan in me. I know we got a good year of John Cena coming. we're not going to get let down at all.
Born in 1977.
Didn't think I'd see a 7 in front of that, man. That's crazy. Because I feel old and I got an 8. You know, I'm 1980.
April 23rd, a few days after WrestleMania 41.
Look at that.
John Felix Anthony Cena Jr.
That's
wow, that's a big name. That's 5 names, John.
Yeah, John.
Big name John.
Big name John.
Born in West Newbury, Massachusetts. We all know that.
That's what I'm
From
wearing my
West
Celtics hat
Newbury,
for you, bro.
Massachusetts. I mean, it's almost like a song when John Cena comes out with his intro.
There it is. John Cena.
He was born 47 years old as he enters into his retirement tour, and actually he'll be 48.
Fun fact, Ric Flair was just getting started when he was 47.
He is one of 5 boys.
Goodness
a lot of brothers.
gracious.
His older brother, Steven, also a career in entertainment as a stage actor, voice performer. He has a brother, Dan, who's a police sergeant. Just some of the things going on.
What you do in Westbury, Massachusetts.
Exactly.
His family loves the traditional names. I like it. John, Dan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, his brother, Sean.
They just got all the names. You know, they're like John, Dan, Steve.
Yeah. And he's got a brother, Matt, who is actually credited with securing John his first WWE trial.
If you hit me with his younger brother, Jebediah, I'm going to lose my mind, all right?
John, it says here John was bullied in his childhood. I read that earlier. And do you think that makes sense now given his mission statement as just an ambassador for, seemingly just hustle, loyalty, pride, friendship, respect, honor.
Feel like it gained one every year.
Yeah.
No, it makes sense, man. I feel like a lot of the wrestlers were bullied as kids,
Yeah.
And like Liv talks about being bullied, Bailey talks about being bullied, the Hardys talk about being bullied. It's just funny to me, that these people that grow these bodies and look like sculpted gods got bullied at one point, but I think it leans them into getting bullied, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm going to come back and show you I'm not worth being bullied.
He started weightlifting at 12 years old, started playing football, and he actually was an NCAA Division III All-American football player. Can you guess what position John Cena was playing?
Please tell me it was a wide receiver.
Center.
This dude was a center? Hiking the ball.
John Cena. Center John Cena. I mean,
What kind of weights was this dude
does that
lifting?
not make sense? He's at the center of everything. He finds a way to be at the middle of everything, this guy.
Ball starts with me.
But he went
I would not, you could have given me a bunch of guesses and I would not have gotten center out of that for sure.
Right. No.
Wow.
I mean, I would imagine like maybe tight end.
Yeah, linebacker,
Yeah.
White boy cornerback,
Yeah.
Oh.
But he went another direction when he ended up doing pro wrestling after college. And again, because of his weightlifting at 12 years old.
Had to be massive at this point.
Yeah, I mean, he started wrestling pretty young. 1999 is when he joined.
So he's 22, right?
Mhm.
Wow.
Joined
Okay.
UPW, Ultimate Pro Wrestling's Ultimate University in California, doing flea markets. That's where John Cena started.
Which is so crazy because you would think, Boston and the Northeast has such a rich indie scene. So it's weird to think that he started in California, because like Sasha Banks and, Carmelo Hayes, a lot of these people started in the Northeast. So it's just weird that he was like, I'm going to California.
Well, it makes sense now why like ECW One Night Stand, why the crowd was like, listen, we know where this guy comes from. He comes from Hollywood.
Yeah, he ain't one of us. He could have easily been one of them, but he wasn't.
Exactly.
It's so funny to have home court advantage and not have home court advantage.
John Cena feels like the David Arquette, how he got back into wrestling to like earn people's wrestling fans' respect. John Cena's kind of coming back. He's always had people's respect, but he's really coming back around in a way.
The likability is fresh. Again,
the likability is super fresh. But he became the UPW heavyweight champion as the prototype. That was John Cena's first.
Didn't he have the 2 little sprigs of hair? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember ruthless aggression.
And so he was the star. of UPW.
Which yeah, UP. So okay, so this was before OVW.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So he made his mark in UPW.
Yep.
First and foremost. So that's cool to see he was a prototype before he was a prototype.
Exactly. March of 2001, he leaves UPW.
2001.
Has a few trials for WWE. Eventually does get his first contract. Developmental deal with WWE or OVW.
That's why they sent you.
Wrestling. In 2001, so same year, he brought the prototype with him.
So this is why people love, like, Netflix picked up the wrestlers and they're going through OVW. And this is why people in wrestling are so hyped about OVW getting another life with Al Snow, because it has such rich history. You know, before you even set foot on a SmackDown or a Raw, you know, there was no NXT. You went to OVW, or you went to, eventually went to Florida Championship Wrestling. So that's why OVW has such a place in wrestling fans' hearts.
Yeah, I mean, that Netflix documentary is great if you
So
haven't
good.
checked that out.
I've just started rewatching it.
Yeah. He quickly became the OVW heavyweight champion.
As the prototype does.
Yeah. And, again, so many talented people in this, 2002 OVW class. So notorious these men were that they became known as the OVW 4. And that's John Cena, Brock Lesnar, Dave Bautista, and Randy Orton.
Wow. I don't think those four did anything in the wrestling business whatsoever.
Yeah.
Poor Shelton Benjamin.
Incredible stuff.
My man was
Benjamin
in there,
was
too.
there as well, and still going at it. We love Shelton Benjamin. Shout out to Shelton Benjamin. But OVW was definitely where John Cena, a lot of great tape of John Cena from OVW, and he really tried to bring that character, not the name. He dropped the prototype name, but he tried to bring that same kind of character to WWE when he made his debut, June 27th, 2002.
My man started wrestling in 1999 and is on WWE TV in 3 years.
Yeah. Well, it does happen that quick in professional wrestling.
If
so
you're
if
good.
you are watching
If you're
this
good.
and you want to get into professional wrestling, we don't really know. We've never done it, but if you are really good and athletic,
The history is
and
there
love it,
that you can.
there's a lot of people that have really just jumped in and had success quickly. No one becomes world heavyweight champion of WWE quickly. But again, there are
Unless you're
different
Brock
tiers.
Lesnar.
As you saw, John Cena became world heavyweight champion of UPW, things like that. But there was a real bona fide star in the ring when John Cena made his debut in Kurt Angle, who Olympic gold medalist, won an Olympic gold medal with a broken freaking neck, not a gimmick, a fact. Kurt Angle's out there, has an open challenge, and it is John Cena who responds in a very notorious way. Tell us about it.
So John Cena's always been tied to the open challenges because he made his debut at an open challenge. I think I'm just now putting that together in my head. Is John Cena was always a fan of the open challenges because it's what made him. Yeah, he comes out. He looks my man straight in the face. Angle, an established star. We're all laughing at this dude, kind of. John Cena looks ridiculous. Like, you pick on my man wearing the jorts, but we saw him in the wrestling gear, and it just didn't sit right. So he yells, and he kind of screams in Angle's face that he has ruthless aggression. Almost beats Angle. Almost wins, but doesn't. This is when Angle was pretty cocky. His character was very cocky. He knew that he was the best in the ring, and that's why he was having these open challenges to show it. And John almost beats him, but in return won the respect of one dead man who was the American BA at the time, Mr. Undertaker. So that was a big deal. The cameras caught it backstage. Undertaker shaking Cena's hand, telling him he did a good job, and boom, a new star is born.
Yeah, but they seem to not be totally into him continuing with. They wanted a little switch.
That's the hard part, though. Now you got to find a character.
Now you got to find a character.
Now you got to stick
We've
around.
Introduced you, and now you got to find your
You
character.
got the rub. Undertaker said, "High five, dude. Now show us something."
So
They say in comedy, when you make it, that's when the work starts. Now you got to stay there.
So apparently behind the scenes, when John would just be hanging out with the boss's daughter, Stephanie McMahon,
Never goes well.
nothing bad was going on, but John Cena would freestyle rap. Actually, you know what? A white dude freestyle rapping, maybe something bad is going on.
Yeah, every time. It's bad every time.
Not this time. Apparently John was good at it. So on a Halloween episode in 2002, SmackDown, they say, John, why don't you dress up as someone who raps? Get out there, show him what you got. So he goes out there dressed as Vanilla Ice, and the Doctor of Thuganomics is born.
I didn't know it was started as a Vanilla Ice costume.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
So he comes out, and now he's like, oh, I'm leaning in. So he goes hats. He goes jerseys. He gets jorts.
He wears the chain in the locker.
And now he becomes known for every time he comes out to the ring, he raps. He cuts a promo by rapping, and his raps are good.
not
He's
bad.
he's making fun of
They're
people.
not bad.
Again, it's like, if you haven't seen old videos of The Rock, if you haven't seen old videos of the John Cena, you're fans of these guys now, but you got to see what we saw. You got to see what
You got to know that history, that rich history.
I mean, they were doing some silly stuff.
But no, he would cut a great promo.
Great silly
and
stuff.
then it just so happened to rhyme, like it was amazing. Like
He was taking sharp digs at people.
and we were
It was
laughing them off.
funny. We were laughing. It was so good.
He was killing it, man. And that's when, was he on SmackDown at the time? Was that
Yeah.
when,
SmackDown.
those SmackDown guys were, the land of opportunity.
Yeah, that's what they call
They
it.
let him get this character out because, like we said, you got to find that character or else you're gone. Like, they had no problem. OVW4 easily could have not existed if this fails, if Cena's first character fails, and Evolution doesn't take off. We're done. Like, the monster heel, Brock Lesnar, that's the easiest to get over. John Cena had a much more difficult path.
Exactly. So in this era of John Cena, he's battling Brock Lesnar, Kurt Angle, The Undertaker, taking a lot of L's.
Which
but
is
he's
funny
rising
to
the
think.
ranks in the
it's
locker
so funny
room.
to think that Cena once took a lot of L's.
And, he's the bad guy because these are all the good guys. These are all the guys that people like. The company's pushing. He's out there antagonizing them, rapping on them.
If you're the young heel, you got to take your bumps and bruises.
So Cena, and this is when I started watching wrestling, everybody, is when Cena was a babyface. And this happened right around Survivor Series 2003.
Okay.
Leading up to John Cena winning his first singles title in WWE at WrestleMania 20. He wins the U.S. Championship against the Big Show by FUing the Big Show in a moment that very much resembled Andre the Giant and Hulk.
I was just gonna say, I feel like there was a big moment that came out of that match because no one thought that the Big Show could be picked up like that, and yet he did.
John Cena continues to battle folks. He defeats Kurt Angle at No Way Out in 2005 to earn his first WWE Championship shot, and less than, let's say, a year after winning the U.S. Championship at WrestleMania 20, he finds himself in the main event WrestleMania 21 against John Bradshaw Layfield.
The perfect antithesis to a brand new babyface Cena was stock market Texan Longhorn
Limousine riding,
John Layfield.
horn on the top, horns on the top, Texas, gasoline, drinking gasoline for breakfast.
They really got that right, man. Like, I remember my brother started watching it around this time, and I wasn't back into it, but I remember, catching some stuff he was watching and being like, they got this right. It was pretty good.
John Cena would carry the title for most of 2005, beating guys like Jericho, Christian, Kurt Angle, and firmly establishing himself as the top of the promotion.
It's weird to think of a Christian John Cena feud. That's weird. My brain doesn't accept that.
Exactly. Cena would lose the title early 2006 when Edge would cash in on him Money at the Bank. This was for the very first time. This was New Year's Revolution. If you haven't seen the first New Year's Revolution pay-per-view, they did an elimination chamber.
Back and watch it.
They did an elimination chamber at that one. It was fantastic. I don't know if this was that one. Cena would then win the title back from Edge at the Royal Rumble in 2006.
That elimination chamber where Cena won and they raised it up, and then Edge was ready to cash in his Money in the Bank briefcase. That iconic. I
want to say that one was in Cuba, maybe, or it was in one of the South American countries.
That's fantastic.
Yeah,
because it definitely showed
Vince
McMahon as a heel again. You know, because he was the one facilitating all that, and we're like, man, I hate you again, McMahon.
Yeah.
Is Edge his big feud? Is Edge the guy you think of with Cena?
I think that's when you do, because John Cena would defeat Triple H at WrestleMania 22 and then just go into so much programming with Edge.
Yeah.
One of the big Cena iconic moments, which, gosh, I can't believe we didn't mention at the beginning, was One Night Stand, ECW, Hammerstein Ballroom.
If Cena wins, we riot.
If Cena wins, we riot. I mean, Rob Van Dam.
They meant it, too.
Yeah. Yeah. And the way Cena played that match, the way he played the bad guy, the way he knew his role, and just went in there and was like a dog with a tail between his legs, was incredible. And Cena would lose the title to Rob Van Dam in ECW territory, and because Edge interfered, Edge is antagonizing him.
But I just loved when Cena threw his shirt into the crowd like he did, and they threw it back.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's when they're like, bro, you have zero friends here.
Yeah.
This entire crowd is against you, bro. That was the ultimate John Cena versus the world. Yeah. Because that's how I looked at it. Everyone, because I do enjoy ECW, but I'm not an ECW guy. You know, if we're being honest, I'm Team Cena in that scenario. You know, so to see my guy go into hostile territory, I was pulling for Cena that night. You know, I was at a friend's house he was a big ECW fan, so he got the pay-per-view, and he called me over because he knew I was at one point a wrestling fan. And I remember watching that and being like, wouldn't it be funny if Cena won this? I've always been the stick poker in wrestling, man, is if it can cause chaos to happen, let it happen.
Let it. This match with Rob Van Dam would be the second time Cena gets cashed in on Money in the Bank, because that match was brought on because Rob Van Dam won the Money in the Bank and said, I want the match. Then he did not surprise Cena.
What a great way to call him out. You know, like, that's the ultimate calling your shot. Be like, I want you in my territory in front of my people. I'm taking your belt.
Mm-hmm. Then Edge beats RVD and Cena in a match.
I mean, obviously a triple threat is going to make sense there.
Which then led to Cena and Edge battling it out at SummerSlam and Unforgiven in 2006. Some incredible, incredible matches. Cena would end up beating Edge eventually in a TLC match.
Of course they had a TLC
at
match.
Unforgiven, and that match was incredible. If you see the ending there, it's in their Rivalries episode.
Is that when he stacks all the chairs on him?
Yeah, and then throws him off a ladder.
Yeah,
I mean, it's truly. I mean, that match is an instant classic.
Well, the poor Edge could never
One of the
escape
few
the
from that
TLC
time.
matches. You know what I mean? Like, poor guy, they see Edge, they're like, TLC. Like, again? All right.
Cena would then be champion for 380 days to beat. Incredible. 380 days defeating folks like Shawn Michaels, Edge again, Randy Orton, the Great Khali, Umaga. He had
some bangers with Umaga for sure.
Yeah. I mean, even the Shawn Michaels match was great. The Great Khali matches were...
He did what he could.
You know, again, they were using Khali as like the big show and kind of a theatric.
They did what he could.
So to speak. But Cena would eventually have to relinquish the belt because of a torn pectoral.
Which sucked at the time, but might I add, one of the greatest comebacks of all time.
I mean, it's the Hanukkah. They said he'd be gone for 9 months, and
he said no.
3 months later.
3 months. My man turned 9 months into 3 months. When his music hit at the Royal Rumble, everyone immediately was like, there's no way. He tore his pec There's no way he's back for the Royal Rumble. But he was.
He wins the Royal Rumble. Doesn't just return, he wins.
I will never forget the look on Triple H's face. Triple H sold that. It almost, to me, is like, I don't think they told Triple H. Because when his music hit, and it's got the camera over the entrance, and it's got Triple H right here, and him just... It's gold. It is so good.
WrestleMania happens. And, you get really excited for the person that wins the Royal Rumble.
Of course.
They got all this momentum.
Yeah.
But John Cena loses.
No!
Triple threat match. Triple H, Randy Orton, John Cena. Randy Orton walks away. And again, I think we got to look at Randy Orton as a contender with Edge as John Cena's greatest rivalry, because they were also rivalries for the face of the company.
Well, just parallels. Their career just parallels of each other.
Exactly.
Like, it blows my mind, because we did a deep dive on Randy Orton not too long ago. It just blows my mind how these guys were so intertwined, yet not.
Right. Cena would then get injured again.
No.
After losing to Batista in 2008 at SummerSlam. But like always, speedy recovery. He's always doing his best to be there for the big four. Gets back at Survivor Series for a feud with Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho had taken a little break. We hadn't seen him in a minute, but he's back. He's got the World Heavyweight Championship. And John Cena says, I want that. He says, I want that. And he takes it. Takes from Chris Jericho at Survivor Series. But then he loses it, as they all do in wrestling.
As they do. Can't have the belt forever.
Yeah. But once again, the company is just riding with Cena hard. So at WrestleMania 25, he wins it back.
Well, he only lost it so he could win it at a big show again. From the big show.
Against Edge. Edge and the Big Show taking the L.
To have such a name, he did not win a lot at the big shows.
Exactly. I mean, my goodness. I mean, they were just it felt like everything was revolving kind of around, John Cena at this time.
And it worked in 2008, but it set up the groundwork for us to full on turn on that dude in 2012.
After Edge beat Cena in the last man standing match, he wins back the world title. Right after WrestleMania at Backlash.
This is when Edge is rated R, right? Rated R.
Yeah. Cena then goes into some programming with Randy Orton. Again, Vince McMahon is just like, well, we got to just run it back. We're running stuff back.
See, my man completely lost ideas here.
Yeah.
But he's about to have a great idea, just didn't execute it properly.
And what idea was that?
When Mr. Cena has to come face to face with a faction that's trying to take over the WWE.
Exactly.
Because the groundwork was there for this to be epic.
Yeah. It really was.
This almost brought me back into wrestling.
Yeah.
But then put me away for another couple of years with how poorly they executed.
So Randy Orton, Cena, they end up just trading the WWE title just all through 2009, all throughout the fall. Ends up in a 60-minute Ironman match where Cena wins at bragging rights.
They leaned on those Iron Man matches there for a little bit, huh?
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know that those are the guys you want in an Iron Man match.
I don't need 60 minutes of Orton and Cena.
That's just not what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that's too much.
But yeah, Cena's reign again. They're just using Cena. I mean, give him the title. Let him lose it. When Sheamus comes along.
They strapped a rocket to him.
Yeah, they did. And Sheamus beats John Cena for the WWE Championship in a tables match at TLC 2009.
Those were when they'd have the TLC matches, but each match would be like a chairs match and a tables match and a ladder match. We're getting TLC, just not at the same time.
Cena then faces Batista at WrestleMania 26. Have you seen that match?
Mm-mm.
I mean, again, the thing that's cool about these matches in hindsight is the OVW connection.
Right. But were they the right people to put together at that time?
Exactly. I mean,
you can lean on history too much.
There wasn't a lot of in-ring chemistry with a lot of these folks at the time.
Right. That's what I'm saying. You can't just put them together because history tells you to put them together.
Yeah.
But that led to Nexus. which is almost made it up as one of my favorite John Cena moments.
Yeah, tell us about it.
That debut was fantastic. They did it wholeheartedly right. Nexus comes in, beats down the two faces of the company, because didn't they beat up Cena and Orton the same night? Mm-hmm. Left them in the ring, destroyed the ring area. Like, just Wade Barrett looked like a menace, and he had his little minions doing his bidding. So to me, it reminded me of some other great factions that have come in and just caused chaos. So I was on board. I was like, you know what? I'm going to tune in next week. And then they got it right again. They had Nexus running wild. They had Cena looking rough. They had Orton looking rough. They had Wade Barrett looking like the true next heir apparent. But then, Evan, what did they do with the Nexus storyline?
What'd they do with the Nexus storyline?
They fed him to John Cena.
Like you do everything.
Which is fine. They both could have coexisted. But they just had John Cena beat the living crap out of Wade Barrett too many times.
Mm-hmm.
You had Daniel Bryan get kicked out of the group, get fired, storyline-wise, like, you thought he was going to come back and join the Resistance, so I just think they had
they fumbled that?
They fumbled it, man, because they had Wade win a couple, didn't they? Like, didn't Wade win one or two in the early?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, my goodness, they might actually do it.
Yeah, so Cena led Team WWE in a win at Elimination Chamber. I'm sorry, in an elimination match at
See, this is how they're fumbling it already. You have a team versus team, and it's not even Survivor Series.
But then Cena loses to Wade Barrett at Hell in a Cell.
See, that's just when they were creating weird stuff. That's when they would do you're fired, and then they'd be back in a match to get their job back next week. So this is when I had trouble with it, man. But I reluctantly got back into wrestling around this time.
Yeah.
Because as much as you try to stay away from the product, it's going to get you back in. So I almost dare to say I got back into wrestling in 2010 and 2011 just to hate on the product.
Yeah.
I got in to hate it.
But it started to get good, at least with some of the characters they were introducing, at least now with the names,
That was the nerve-wracking part, is I enjoyed every single person in Nexus. I thought they did a good job of debuting Heath Slater. Right. Thought they did a good job of showing us what was Ryback's name before? Skip Sheffield. I thought they did good with all that. But then as soon as they injected that group in the arm, they deflated them immediately. Like the John Cenas and the Randy Ortons that they were beating up and looking strong were now beating them pretty handily. Mm-hmm. And they eventually ended up killing Nexus because they didn't, they couldn't get over the top start. Like, I don't understand why it's all or nothing.
Right.
Like, yeah, they should have had Cena beat Nexus eventually, but that doesn't mean they got to go away.
Right.
That just means they stop attacking John Cena.
We're about to get into John Cena becoming, the bona fide star of the company, and this is really when The Rock returns. WrestleMania 27, Atlanta, The Rock is returning to host. We've got The Miz and John Cena in the main event at WrestleMania for the WWE
The once-in-a-lifetime showdown.
And The Rock and John Cena just start throwing insults at each other in the lead-up, which ultimately leads to The Rock screwing John Cena, completely costing him the match.
Against the Miz, right?
The Miz wins.
Yeah, the Miz is like, I beat John Cena in the main event at WrestleMania.
The Miz wins the world WWE title. I'm sorry, and which ends up then leading to The Rock and John Cena feuding in what has been billed as the once in a lifetime showdown, but we can call it twice in a lifetime showdown because
we got it twice.
Would end up doing this twice.
We got it twice.
A lot of really great stuff would come out of this, including the CM Punk pipe bomb.
You forget Drew, that it's tied to that.
Can you fill us in on what was going on? Obviously we have this huge match, John Cena, The Rock. We all get why. What is CM Punk mad about?
CM Punk was mad that some part-timers get to just stroll in and get these big opportunities that the superstars that are there working all the time don't get. I was all on board. They gave him a microphone and Triple H said, what you just said to me, go say out there. And I wholeheartedly believe that. I wholeheartedly believe he was standing behind McMahon and Helmsley just complaining. And they're like, go say it out there. Because McMahon will see the money and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it was wholeheartedly just been like, you know what, shut up, man. Get out there. Just say it. And they're like, whatever you say, we'll build a storyline off of. And he gave them so much gold to run off of. That's how we got the Summer of Punk. I truly love that we didn't know if Punk was going to win the belt and disappear. He was threatening to take the WWE belt and go somewhere. Can you imagine if he would have showed up at Ring of Honor was on the rise at that point? If he could have shown up at Ring of Honor with the WWE belt, are you kidding me?
Yeah, and so Cena takes the title back from The Miz, and then so while Cena has the title and this match at WrestleMania with Rock has been set up, Punk enters the equation, does the pipe bomb promo, and then Punk beats Cena for the title. Takes the title, which then puts in the question of, okay, will this Cena versus Rock match at WrestleMania be for the title? Well, eventually Cena will win the title back from Punk, which does end up making the WrestleMania match, WrestleMania 28 match
for the belt.
For the belt, creating incredible stakes. Nobody really knew what was going to happen, and shock the world, The Rock ends up beating John Cena in the main event at WrestleMania 28.
And we were all bummed out, but that created one of the best Raw after Mania moments. Cena's in the ring talking about how he lost to The Rock, and all of a sudden we hear that music that we all know. Brock Lesnar returns. And who is in his way first off? John freaking Cena.
So Brock Lesnar returns for the first time in 8 years to attack Cena. While Brock was gone, he became a UFC World Heavyweight Champion.
Just became even more dangerous.
He became a bona
Build
fide...
that resume.
Yeah.
Tried out, made it to the NFL. When he first left, remember he went to the NFL?
Mm-hmm.
And he went to UFC. So he just picking up combat sport resume builders.
The two would fight, John Cena, Brock Lesnar, in an Extreme Rules match.
That was a brutal match, too.
And Cena would end up winning. And it was brutal. If you haven't seen
Lesnar dropped him on those stairs quite a few times.
Yeah.
And then Cena'd win a Money in the Bank. Didn't think Cena had it in him. Climbing up the ladder, won 2012 Raw's Money in the Bank. That's when they would split it up. You won it for your brand.
Yep.
And then did the noble thing and said he announced his cash in.
Rob Van Dam did that to him. Cena knows. Cena's been cashed in on a lot of surprises. He doesn't like it. Honor, loyalty, hustle, respect, pride, stamina, determination. John Cena.
So, he didn't win the belt, got DQ'd, or won by DQ. But to cap off winning the 2012 Money in the Bank, he follows that up by winning the 2013 Royal Rumble.
Exactly. And again, this is when folks are kind of like,
we're getting a lot of
see
Cena.
what they're getting.
But now we're getting a once in the lifetime, another lifetime again.
Yeah, because The Rock had his own little thing going on with Punk.
And won the belt.
So now it's
completely
all about
unnecessary.
You're creating a rematch. And again, this is when I think you had a lot of fans that were like, maybe not totally happy.
This is when the John Cena sucks chance would start.
Exactly.
And then they would even try to cool off Daniel Bryan by using Cena against him. You know what I mean? People weren't buying that at all. People turned people were Team Bryan over Cena wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
This is when Daniel Bryan was to the moon, so.
But The Rock and John Cena have their rematch, WrestleMania 29. John Cena wins, regains the title, and then along comes Daniel Bryan, the most unlikely of WWE champions, of foils for Cena. He created the Yes movement, and Daniel Bryan beats John Cena at SummerSlam 2013 to win the WWE Championship in what is a incredible moment.
Were you Team Bryan or Team Cena at this point?
Oh, at this point, looking back, I'm Team Bryan. With what they were building up.
Yeah.
He was like coming in and just like,
You were a monster if you didn't pull over Daniel Bryan. You know?
Exactly. So at this point, Cena's just been racking up title reigns. I bet you don't even know where we're at, but we're at
probably like
13.
12, 13? Okay.
We're at 13. So Alberto Del Rio is champion, and John Cena says, I need that belt. Actually, Vince McMahon says ratings need to go up.
Let me get that up out your partner. So
John Cena's going to take the belt with from Alberto Del Rio at Hell in a Cell 2013, and then lose to Orton at TLC 2013. So again, another title.
Is this when they put the two belts up?
Yeah. He became the undisputed WWE champion.
This is
a huge moment
Orton,
for Randy Orton. Yep. So again, the tides have turned. Cena might have won the feud early. Now Orton's winning the feud. And then
this is when we're kind of like, finally, we're getting this Orton Cena thing. You know, like, goodness gracious. Should have gotten it 5 years ago.
And then this is when Cena begins his rivalry with Bray Wyatt, which again, if we're going to, I think it goes, now we're talking Edge, we're talking Orton. I think we got to talk about Bray Wyatt as well as one of the great feuds that Cena had.
Didn't get a quantity, you know, we got quality. We just didn't get the quantity.
But they would have some matches at Payback, Extreme Rules. And then Cena starts his 15th reign as WWE champion in a multi-man ladder match at Money in the Bank 2014.
I love that they did Money in the Bank, but they also had a match for a belt at Money in the Bank.
And then this is when I got
back
like
all the opportunities.
This is when I got back into
it. All right, welcome. I've been here for a little bit. It was a little bit of a cluster.
SummerSlam 2014. I'm excited. Brock Lesnar, John Cena, two guys that I watched in 2003, 2004. They're battling 10 years later at SummerSlam. Let's tune in.
Yes, they are.
Squash match. Yeah. John Cena gets absolutely demolished.
Murdered. I remember I don't know if my jaw was off the floor in time to hear the 1, 2, 3. Did not see that coming. Squash match, Cena? What?
Crazy. This kind of demotes John Cena a little bit. He spent some time with the U.S. Championship.
We're good with that. Because you know what that came with was an open challenge.
Exactly.
Like every United States title reign should.
So 2015, he's doing the open challenge. He's going down to like NXT.
Haiti beat Rusev.
Doing matches with like Kevin Owens.
That was cool when KO was the NXT champ, Cena was the US champ. Their feud, that was amazing. That definitely elevated. We wouldn't look at Kevin Owens the same without that feud.
KO defeated John Cena at Elimination Chamber 2015 again. So this is when there's a turn. John Cena is now putting people over, but then Cena beats Owens on 2 occasions. With the third match being for the U.S. Championship at Battleground. So he gets his, re-solidifies his dominance, but again, puts KO over in the process.
One of those feuds that both won. We talk about it all the time. There is your textbook definition. Both won the feud.
John Cena then beats WWE Champion Seth Rollins in an open challenge, which gave him the opportunity to go for the 16th title run, the tying title run. At SummerSlam.
Oh, yeah, this is when Rollins was the U.S. and the WWE champ. Yeah, I forgot all about it. Man, 2016 seems like yesterday and also 20 years ago.
Exactly. But Rollins would come out on top, win both the U.S. title and retain the WWE championship.
Rollins was that dude back then, man.
But then Cena takes the U.S. championship back at Night of Champions. So a lot of movement around here going on. But again, Cena's out here putting people over, the new folks.
Doing his thing, man. No hate here.
Then we move to Cena really becoming a part-timer. He has a great run with AJ Styles.
He's killing it in Hollywood.
AJ Styles comes along into the company, finally makes his debut. And the two guys go at it. I mean, they have 3 bouts. Ultimately ending at SummerSlam.
That's my favorite WWE AJ Styles.
Yeah.
It's him in the club, beat up John Cena.
Yeah, I mean, really, really incredible. And Cena ends up beating Styles for the WWE title at the Royal Rumble 2017. This tied Cena with Ric Flair for 16 world titles.
Got a feeling that's going to come back up.
And ever since then, it's just been a little bit of this and a little bit of that. But John Cena does an incredible thing for one Bray Wyatt, puts Bray Wyatt over.
That match is amazing.
When Bray Wyatt beats John Cena, doesn't really beat John Cena, but John Cena has the title and Bray Wyatt wins an Elimination Chamber match. Bray Wyatt wins the title, takes it into WrestleMania, which was WrestleMania 2017, which at WrestleMania 2017, maybe one of John Cena's most regrettable moments, and that is when he has a match with his fiancée at the time, Nikki Bella, against The Miz and Maurice. John Cena and Nikki Bella win, and John Cena gets down on one knee and proposes to Nikki Bella in front of the world.
How did that turn out? They're happily married now, right?
Did not turn out great. Did not turn out great, but John Cena is now happily married, and that's what's important. And that's what's important. Cena would come back, have an epic feud with Roman Reigns in 2017. We talked about it earlier. John Cena tells Roman Reigns, I'm still here because you can't do your job, forcing Roman Reigns to start doing his job. WrestleMania 34, John Cena's like, I want to be at WrestleMania. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? Who have I not wrestled?
Is that when he bought a ticket?
He bought a ticket.
He
I was at this
there.
WrestleMania.
Yeah,
I went with my buddies.
That was a good gag to keep going.
So he calls out The Undertaker because we're all, this match hasn't happened. It's a dream match. And I'm not going to lie, as a fan, I was so mad.
Really? Because it didn't have a build-up?
Because you're telling me that you're building up John Cena versus The Undertaker.
As just a
and then you give us a squash match.
Yeah.
The match lasted less than a minute, I believe.
That was bad.
John Cena takes the loss.
Yeah.
This was when John Cena is entering some... and this was when the product was really suffering. A lot of dancing, a lot of cheesy stuff. This was too cheesy.
You can't have one of
you
the
can't
greatest
promote
of all
John
time.
Cena versus The Undertaker and give us what you give us, but at the same time, that match was meant to give The Undertaker his confidence back because The Undertaker had lost to Roman Reigns and was no longer the big dog.
The big dog.
2020 rolls around. Again, Cena wants a WrestleMania match. So they start building up Bray Wyatt versus Cena. Bray Wyatt's becoming a huge star. But then COVID hits and ends up being a blessing in disguise for this match.
What a great match.
I don't know what the live match would have been.
Not this good.
Go on YouTube, watch John Cena versus Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania 36, I believe. Cena then returns to have another feud with Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is the tribal chief. He's the star of the company.
My memory isn't remembering a lot of Roman Cena, but we got a lot of...
Again, the company is back. They have responded from the pandemic. They're back in stadiums. They're back in arenas. Roman is doing his job, but who does it? Cena.
John Cena.
But this is when Roman has really stepped into his own. Roman has made all of the necessary adjustments that he needed to from that 2017 feud, and Roman
He's the head of the table.
Ends up winning, solidifying himself as the head of the table, solidifying himself as the tribal chief and face of the company. And then Cena returns a couple of times. He returns at WrestleMania, fights Austin Theory and loses.
That Austin Theory, yeah.
He returns at WrestleMania.
He talked some trash to Theory too, along those lines of if you were better at your job, I wouldn't be here.
We don't mean to skim over this, but not a lot going on.
It's still
for
fresh.
Cena.
You've seen it.
Yeah, he returns at WrestleMania 40 to help Cody Rhodes wins the title. But the thing that needs to be talked about with these last few years is that as of WWE's Raw debut on Netflix, which at this point was 8 days ago, John Cena's singles losing streak in WWE is 2,446 days. He has not won a singles match in WWE since 2018 at the Greatest Royal Rumble in the opening match against Triple H.
That's insane to think about. The one guy that could not lose. You had to bury this guy under the ring's worth of chairs. You had to threaten to riot an old building to get this dude to lose. And you telling me he ain't won in 2,500 days. Wow.
So as we enter John Cena's retirement tour, what an incredible story filled with triumph, filled with disappointment, filled with embarrassment,
and
filled
a whole
with
lot of championships.
Evolution, and a whole lot of championships. Actually, let's do the rundown, shall we? real quick before we get out of here. John Cena, 13 WWE championships, 3 World Heavyweight Championships, 5 United States Championships, 2 Tag Team Championships, 2 World Tag Team Championships, 2 Men's Royal Rumble wins, 1 Men's Money in the Bank wins, and 1 Sports Illustrated Muhammad Ali Legacy Award.
John freaking Cena.
His net worth is around $80 million, not just because of WWE, but because now he's a bona fide WWE movie star. He has joined the likes of The Rock and Batista. He's got the Suicide Squad. He's in the Fast and the Furious.
He's a new face of McDonald's.
He's actually hilarious in Ricky Stenicki, if you haven't seen it.
So funny.
But let's talk about what makes John Cena the champ of all champs. Make-A-Wish.
Yes.
As of right now, I want to say, I believe Make-A-Wish will tell you John Cena has granted more wishes than any celebrity on the roster.
Shout out to Cena for doing that, dude.
Since 2002, I believe
Hall of Fame worthy right there.
Over 650 wishes, more than any celebrity in history. John Cena, we respect you. Your career isn't over. I have a feeling the most interesting part of your career
this is going to be a great
is yet
year.
to be written.
This is going to be a great year.
Is a WWE history lesson with the Spandex StandUps.